So, recently somebody was asking me a simple couple questions, and they actually asked me, hey, I got a question. How would you contain certain creatures and, hell, even the gods in the 40k universe if you had to make containment procedures, or stuff of that nature? So, that gave me the idea to make this little thing, which basically, if you were to put in the comments, hey, how would you contain this entity, or this entity, or that entity, and such. Well, just to be on the curious side, screw it, we're making a series. It's going to be called The Containment Cell. So, welcome. Hey, by the way, interesting little thing. I put a poll out for this actual episode, which was basically, who do you think is the easiest to contain out of the 4 Chaos Gods? You know, Khorne, Tzeentch, Slaanesh, or Nurgle. An overwhelming amount of you said that Slaanesh was the easiest. I don't know what freaking... what the hell? Before we move on to anything else, I should probably point out, when we're talking about, you know, characters or this or that, I'm going to use their main body of, well, info. So, going off of the books, going off of all of the usual stuff, like, mostly sticking to the books when it comes to 40k because that's the best method of keeping information. However, I will say this, I don't want to hear anybody bitching and moaning because the simple truth is I actually spent almost a week on researching this entire topic. So I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure I am on the point of what the hell I'm talking about. With that being said, I should say this. Y'all thought Slaanesh was the easiest to contain? The fuck's wrong with y'all? In all honesty, it was weird. Khorne was at 14%, Tzeentch was at 3%, Slaanesh was at 65%, and Nurgle was at 18%. What the fuck did y'all... what? Seriously though, Slaanesh is not the easiest to contain at all. And I'm actually going to go from hardest to easiest. So, with that being said, number 1 on the hard side would be Slaanesh. And there's a couple reasons. First off, there was the fight with Fulgrim. Now, you might be saying, well, what does that have to do with anything? Well, Fulgrim, oh boy, was a demon Primarch at the time, and he was corrupted, and he went a little bit mad. However, this is where it gets really, really, really cool, because, well, Khorne fought Angron, demonized. Now, the comparable strength of Fulgrim and Angron are not the same. However, Fulgrim, I would have to say, is probably a lot more... he's a lot easier to actually, you know, move around. He's actually a lot easier to do certain things. He's much more dexterous. Angron is tough, not gonna lie, and he's a lot harder to hurt. However, at the same time, Angron in his demon form, while fighting Khorne had to use almost 20% of his full power, from what I could find. While Slaanesh fighting Fulgrim was literally less than 10%. Hell, it wasn't even at 5%, apparently. So, yeah, Slaanesh is pretty fucking tough. How would I contain her, though? I'd have to use the perfect partner slime, or snail, I should say. There is a snail in the Foundation that actually is in containment. It is a... well, snail that morphs to your sexual desire. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You can't really trick Slaanesh. She's one of the few Chaos Gods that I don't think of an easy way to put her in the box. However, if you're able to actually put her in that box and put that snail with her, it's going to be put into an infinite feedback loop of them trying to out-horny the other to the point where you can pretty much... don't set it, forget it, and don't worry about it. Now, moving on to the second hardest to contain. Well, Nurgle. I know what you're thinking. Hey, hold on a second. I was in that poll. Nurgle was considered the second easiest. Why is he the second hardest? Well, that's because Nurgle doesn't truly have a... well, he doesn't have a solid body to actually hit. Nurgle is one of those few entities in the 40k universe. He was the first Chaos God. He is one of the toughest. He's one of the strongest. His sister, on the other hand, has beaten him in the department of not being able to be contained easily. But the reason why Nurgle is harder to contain than Khorne or Tzeentch is because Nurgle can literally move freely. He doesn't have anything to put him down. And whatever containment cell you put him in, he's pretty much going to either, well, corrode his way out or goddamn near fucking kill everybody around it. So, yeah, you have to be careful with it. How would I contain Nurgle? Now, that's the interesting part. There's an SCP called SCP-1908, who is literally made by Dr. One Entertainment. And here's really interesting thing. It basically manifests a cleaning entity. An entity that wants to clean. It makes no sense to me how it exists, it just does. However, this is where it really gets kind of funny. The moment that Nurgle is going to try to kill this thing, it's not going to work. Because, well, Mr. Bath and Mr. Wash basically are immune to almost all diseases. So Nurgle's gonna spend eternity trying to beat him with basically every known disease known to humankind and not known to humankind, to the point where it's going to be goddamn terrifying. However, I will say this, Nurgle's wife is probably the best way to contain him. Just giving her power will actually be able to, well, make him sit and wait. For those that don't know, Nurgle's wife, i.e. his captive wife, is the Eldar goddess of life. So yeah, just food for thought there. Now to the last two. Oh boy. Here's the really quick question. Which one of these is considerably the easiest to contain? If you said that it was Khorne was the easiest, no, he's not. He's the second easiest. Tzeentch is the last, and we'll get to him in a second. Khorne is the second easiest to contain, due to the fact that he is, well, he's strong. He is completely and utterly unbreaking. He literally is just tough. He does not get hurt. He does not get pain. He just loves everything of it. Now, how to contain him? That would be quite the easy accomplishment. And the saddest part is, I can't believe I'm even going to say this, you stick him in a room with 682 and let them at it, because they are not going to back down. 682 is not going to listen to Khorne, and Khorne ain't going to listen to 682. Because both of them want to kill and destroy. They're not going to listen to each other, and they're just going to keep fighting until there's nothing left of them.
Fucking you, bloody! Fuck you, bloody! Bastard bitch! Fuck you! Bloody fuck you, bloody! Fucking mother bloody fuck bitch!
Which, I know, that seems a little bit sourpuss for Khorne, but it's Khorne. He's literally, like, the easiest person to fucking delegate. Now, when it comes to Tzeentch, oh boy. Yeah, Tzeentch is actually the easiest to contain. Hands fucking down. For a couple reasons. One, he's a complete and total fucking coward. I would say that Tzeentch I don't like just because I don't. But no, Tzeentch in my eyes is probably one of the weirdest and worst characters of Chaos ever. Due to the fact that he is openly a fucking coward. When his siblings attacked him after he made the crystalline staff, he literally shattered it because he was too scared that they were actually going to win a fight, because he didn't have all the things to be said. Now, Tzeentch, being the god of change, chaos, and, you know, mischief, and everything else, you would think that he would actually take the risk and roll the dice and just say, fuck it, we ball. But he didn't. He was completely and utterly, well, he was a terrified mess. Like, terrified fucking mess. We're talking, like, full-blown, like, I am not trying to do anything mess. It's sad to say this. I mean, it is truly sad to say that Nurgle, Tzeentch are the oldest of the Chaos Gods, and Tzeentch is considerably the biggest coward of them all. Now, when it comes to containing Tzeentch, it's not going to be too difficult. Why? Because you can actually challenge Tzeentch to, well, a mental contest of strength. And because of that, well, guess what? You literally could just say, Tzeentch, I challenge you to a game of wits, and then immediately tell him, I need you to go look at that SCP and tell me exactly what it looks like, and also write it down. You put him in a room with 055, the anti-memetic hazard, which basically even gods are affected by this fucking thing, yeah, you're pretty much gonna have him in that room for the rest of his existence, because he's just gonna lose his fucking mind trying to literally figure out if that is a arm, a leg, or possibly a splintering toe. And yeah, that's pretty much them. I know what people are probably going to say is, why the hell is Slaanesh considered the hardest to contain? She should be the easiest. However, it's not that simple. She is the excess of emotions, but the problem is she's not stupid. She actually thinks for herself. Not to mention, Nurgle would legit just be loving the Foundation with all of its weird concoctions and diseases and everything else that it can, well, he can fuck around with. Khorne, again, it's basically 682 is the only way that I could see, besides the other murder happy hobo, or basically me being canon, which that doesn't happen. But with all being serious, Siege is by far the easiest. Because of his own dumb hubris, he makes it easy for, well, anybody to mess with him. So, to recap all of what I said, Zeech you basically need to put into a chamber with 055 and basically challenge him to try to, well, either write down or explain what he looks like, 055. For Khorne, you basically need to give him a challenge that he can't even defeat, no matter how hard he tries, i.e. 682 or Abel, basically immortal killing machines that like to fight. Nurgle, you basically need to give him some type of virus creature, i.e. Mr. Clean and Mr. Wash and Mr. Bath. Entities that are immune to basically any type of, well, disease, and also are able to cleanse any disease, no matter how hard it is. And finally, we have Slaanesh, who, funny enough, again, there's multiple ways you could contain the others, but her? Really? It's that slug is god far the only thing that actually could put her in there. Besides, I could think of one other way, which no one is going to do, because you would have to literally be Slaanesh's playmate for the rest of eternity. Yet, just no. I can't think of any other way to contain her. She's basically harder than hell to contain. So yeah, with that being said, thank you for watching. If you could, please leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you always keep up to date with all of the rest of my stupidity. But with that also being said, please remember, for the Emperor!